There's a bridge called Covert's Crossing or Covert's Bridge up in Newcastle. A young couple had gotten married on Halloween. Around midnight they were riding in a horse-drawn carriage across the bridge at the same time a car was. The bridge was only one lane, so by the time they saw each other it was too late. Story has it that they crashed and the hubcap of the car flew off, decapitating the bride. The police never found her head or the body of the groom. It's been said that if you sit on the bridge on Halloween night around midnight, you can see the headless bride standing on some rocks in the river. However, they don't know if she's looking for her head or her lost love. Late at night, I usually go to the bathroom multiple times. But for the past 4 days, every time I go to leave, I can see myself still standing in the mirror from the corner of my eye. It is like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I almost run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband, because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed while he sat in the chair next to it and watched TV. When I woke up, he told me that he had seen me sit up and crawl backwards to the edge of the bed and stand up in front of our bedroom door from the corner of his eye. He thought it was weird that I got up like that because I'm in the last month of my pregnancy, and I can't really move so good without it hurting, so he tried talking to me. When I didn't answer, he looked at the door to find me not there and still sleeping in bed. I got really creeped out and I finally told him about what I'd been seeing in the bathroom. He thought it was creepy as well, but didn't want to really talk about it anymore because he thinks it'll give whatever its power or energy. I have no idea what it wants or why we both saw it. My mother was having dinner at a friend's house. It was a small old cottage that's been around for over 100 years. She tries to find the bathroom and pulls on a door that is locked. The friend sees and says, "Sorry, that goes to the basement. The bathroom is over there." Thinking it is odd, my mother asks why the basement door is locked. "It's always locked. In fact, I don't even have a key for it. The real estate agent advised me not to go down there as it's not been upgraded like the rest of the cottage. It's a little more than a root cellar." Fast forward a few weeks when my mother is working on a project about the history of the police department in the town. An old man comes in with news clippings about various community events, as well as news clippings from the 50s about a gruesome murder. My mom was a bit taken aback. "Sorry, I forgot those clippings were in here too." "No, I know this address. It's my friend's house. What happened there?" "Oh," said the man. "Well, that used to be my mother's house. She'd been dating this man who was cruel to her, beat her horribly. She tried again and again to break it off with him, but he'd always come back. Finally, my aunt moved in with us and my mother finally broke up with him. He starts getting emotional. Then one night he broke in and tied my mother, aunt, sister, and brother up in the basement. He shot them all in front of my mother. Then he shot her and killed himself, leaving a note that said she would never leave him again. I was away at college," he started to cry. "And that is how my mother's friend learned she has a haunted quadruple murder-suicide scene in her basement. She moved out a year later. I was a caretaker of a small, uninhabited island off the coast of Maine, and my girlfriend and I started having synchronized nightmares about the things we had never discussed before. They involved very specific themes, and after months of this happening, we were gifted a history book of the island that had a small chapter in the back that mentions the exact hauntings. I was in my sophomore year of high school. I would usually get ready and then wait for my mother to drive me to school. While she was getting ready, I was just kind of hanging out in the bathroom with her while she was putting on makeup and curling her hair. She looked a little frazzled, and I asked if everything was okay. She told me about a weird occurrence the night before. She told me that she had been woken up around 2 a.m. by a strange noise. It wasn't super loud, but it was pretty constant. My dad wasn't woken up by it, though it's not surprising as he sleeps like a log. Anyway, she started looking for the source of the noise, first checking the bathroom attached to their room, but there isn't anything in there. Next, she walks out into the hall and hears the noise from the bathroom nearby. When she walks in, she sees a hairdryer plugged in and turned on, just sitting in the middle of the bath mat on the floor. She thinks it's strange, but there are 4 kids living in the house, and she thought maybe someone had sleepwalked and turned it on. Whatever, she unplugs it and puts it away. She goes back to bed and eventually falls asleep. About an hour later, she wakes up again and hears the same noise. She's kind of pissed off and goes to check it out again, except now the noise is coming from downstairs. She tracks it down into the guest bathroom in the main entry hall. She opens the door, and again, there's a hairdryer turned on, laying in the middle of the floor. She's freaked out by this at this point, but she unplugs it and puts it away. She didn't get a great night's sleep after that. So she's telling me this story, and as soon as she comes to the conclusion, we both just freeze and turn our heads into the walk-in closet off her bathroom. As soon as we look in there, the entire light on the ceiling shatters. Not the light bulb, but the glass cover. It shatters, sending shards of glass everywhere. Well, we both freaked out and got the heck out. We didn't know what to make of it, but we really haven't had any experiences before or since. And none of my family have experienced anything either. I used to volunteer at a nursing home where we had several instances where new residents accurately described former residents down to specific nightgowns or color of glasses who I and the staff knew had died in that room, and complain about them coming into the room at night. Then once I was walking through the hallway and it was normally uncomfortably warm inside, but I felt a chill and goosebumps. One of the CNAs said that I had just walked through a ghost. I couldn't get warm again for the rest of the day. There were flickering lights and TVs turning themselves on. Several of the staff were from the same Southeast Asian country, and they were talking about ghosts and disrespect for the dead, so much that management had someone come in to do a candlelight ceremony, and this lady with crystals and dreadlocks came in to do a sage brushing. Things calmed down after that. Light stayed on better, and the residents seemed calmer. In college, I would go home every other weekend to work at the job I had since high school. I would drive directly from campus after my last class on Friday to my job, which was about an hour-long drive, and after my shift was done, I'd go back to my parents' house, which was out in the middle of nowhere. My parents weren't yet home when I got back from work. So the house was dark, and since it was mid-fall, so was the yard, save for the yard light. I had pulled into my normal parking spot, got out of the car, and then turned to open the back door of my car and get my backpack out of the seat. That's when I noticed that the bathroom light was on. Was that light on when I pulled up? It must have been, right? As I was contemplating the light and reaching for my backpack, there was suddenly a very angry-looking old woman standing in the window staring at me. We're not talking resting bitch face here either. She was pissed off, and I knew it. We stood there staring at each other for a good 10 seconds when my parents pulled into the driveway and distracted me from my stare down with the woman in the bathroom. By this time I turned back. The light was still on, but the woman was gone. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. But I've been just plain creepy, and I'll catch you in the next video.